My nephews knocked on my door at 4 a.m., shivering in their pajamas. Their parents had locked them out again. This time, I didn't just let them in. I made one phone call, and their parents' lives changed forever. The knocking woke me at 4:03 a.m. I found Leo and Elijah on my porch, 8 and 6 years old, soaked through with freezing rain in thin pajamas. "Uncle Jordan," Leo whispered. "They did it again." My stomach dropped. Again. Elijah was shaking so violently he couldn't stand. Leo had his brother's hand in a death grip. They'd walked 4 miles in 38-degree rain, in the dark. Leo was barefoot. "How long were you outside?" "Maybe an hour." We knocked. Dad said we'd learn our lesson this time. I wrapped them in blankets and started hot chocolate. No missed calls from my sister Vanessa. No texts. Nothing. This was the 3rd time in 2 months. September. Doors locked after Vanessa and Derek fought. The boys waited outside 45 minutes before walking here. Vanessa apologized. Blamed stress. October. Same thing. Derek answered my call. "They need consequences for wandering off. This is how they learn." I'd let it go then. Not anymore. The boys crashed on my couch around 5:30 a.m. I took photos first. Wet pajamas. Blue fingers. Leo's cut. Muddy feet. Metadata stamped everything. 4:42 a.m. November 19th, 38 degrees. Then I called Child Protective Services. "My name is Jordan Mitchell. I need to report child abandonment." Within 2 hours, caseworker Patricia Odoms arrived. She interviewed the boys separately while I sat in the living room, listening to my nephews explain how their father said, "Maybe freezing will teach you to behave." Patricia emerged with an expression carved from stone. "Mr. Mitchell, this is one of the clearest cases of willful neglect I've seen. The children stay with you until we determine their home is safe." Vanessa called 34 times that morning. I ignored everyone. Derek showed up at noon, pounding on my door. "Where are my sons?" "With me, where they're safe." "You had no right to call CPS. That's discipline." "Discipline doesn't leave children hypothermic." They walked 4 miles in the dark. Leo is 8. He stepped closer. "Give me my sons, or I'll have you arrested for kidnapping." "CPS has custody until the investigation is complete." "Get off my property." The emergency hearing happened 3 days later. Their lawyer painted me as an overprotective busybody. Judge Torres flipped through the CPS report. "Counselor, this happened 3 separate times. That's not an error. That's a pattern." She looked at Derek. "Mr. Hayes, you told your nephew that locking children outside would teach them a lesson. Is that accurate?" Derek shifted. "It was taken out of context." "What's the context for abandoning a 6-year-old in freezing rain?" Silence. She turned to Vanessa. "Your sons told the caseworker they're afraid to sleep at night because they don't know if you'll lock them out again. Do you understand the psychological damage you've caused?" Vanessa started crying. "I love my boys. I'd never hurt them intentionally." "Intention is irrelevant. Impact is what matters." Judge Torres closed the file. "Emergency custody is granted to Jordan Mitchell. Supervised visitation only, 2 hours per week. Parenting classes and psychological evaluations required. We'll reconvene in 6 months." 6 months? Vanessa's voice broke. "They're my children." "Then you should have acted like a mother." The gavel came down. Vanessa turned back with pure hatred in her eyes. "You destroyed my family." "No," I said quietly. "You did that yourself." The next 6 months were brutal. Leo had nightmares. Elijah developed severe anxiety. They started therapy, slowly began to heal. Leo joined Little League. Elijah made friends. They stopped checking door locks before bed. One night in April, Elijah crawled into my lap during movie night. "Jordan, can we stay here forever?" My throat tightened. "You can stay as long as you need to." The 6-month hearing happened in May. Their lawyer stood up. "Your Honor, my clients have completed every requirement. It's time to reunite this family." Judge Torres looked at Leo and Elijah. "Boys, where do you want to live?" Leo looked at Vanessa, at Derek, then at me. "With Uncle Jordan." Vanessa made a sound like something inside her shattered. "Elijah, I want to stay with Jordan," he whispered. "He doesn't lock us out, and he doesn't yell." Judge Torres closed the file. "Mr. and Mrs. Hayes, I'm granting permanent custody to Jordan Mitchell. The children have made their choice clear." "No, they're my sons." "They were your sons. You failed to protect them repeatedly." The gavel fell. Final. Leo walked over and grabbed my hand. "Can we go home now?" "Not their house. Home." "Yeah, buddy, let's go home."